In the heart of the city, where the neon lights flicker and shadows creep, there's a tale that sends shivers down the spines of anyone who dares to whisper it. The legend of the Midnight Ringer. Every night at exactly midnight, a chilling sound echoes through the alleyways. A distant ringing like a bell. But it's not a bell at all. It's the sound of a phone, beckoning from the darkness. Our story begins with a young woman named Mia. She had just moved to the city, seeking adventure and a fresh start. But little did she know, she would stumble into the heart of an urban legend that would change her life forever. Mia lived in a cramped apartment above a quaint little coffee shop. The nights were often filled with the sounds of laughter and clinking cups below her. But as the clock struck 12, a heavy silence would blanket the streets. The locals warned her, "Don't answer the phone if it rings at midnight." But curiosity often gets the better of us, doesn't it? One fateful night, as the city lay under a hazy veil of fog, Mia was jolted awake by the piercing sound of a phone ringing. She glanced at her clock. Midnight. Her heart raced as she remembered the warnings. But that sound, it was unlike any phone she'd ever heard, echoing as if it were calling directly to her. Against her better judgment, she picked up her phone, only to find it was dead. No light, no connection. Confused but intrigued, she slipped on her jacket and stepped out into the eerie quiet of the night. The alley behind her apartment was dimly lit, the air thick with an unsettling stillness. As she walked deeper into the shadows, the ringing grew louder, guiding her like a siren's song. She rounded a corner and found an old payphone, its paint peeling and covered in grime. The phone continued to ring, each chime like a taunt, drawing her closer. Mia hesitated, glancing around to see if anyone else was nearby. The streets were empty, not a soul in sight. Her heart thumped loudly in her chest, but she stepped closer, compelled by an unseen force. She reached out and lifted the receiver, her hand trembling. "Hello?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. Silence. Then, a voice, raspy and cold, sent chills down her spine. "Mia, I've been waiting for you." "Who is this?" she stammered, her instincts screaming at her to hang up. But she couldn't. The voice seemed to pull her in, wrapping around her mind like a fog. "Do you remember the story of the Midnight Ringer?" it asked, each word dripping with malice. "You have to make a choice, Mia. Answer the call, or let someone else suffer." Panic surged through her. "What do you mean? Who will suffer?" "Someone you know. The choice is yours." The line went dead, leaving Mia standing in the darkness, her heart racing, mind spinning. She stumbled back, her thoughts a chaotic whirlwind. Was this some kind of sick joke? She turned to run back to her apartment, but as she did, she noticed something. The shadows seemed to move, shifting and swirling, forming shapes that danced along the walls of the alley. The phone began to ring again, more insistent this time. Mia felt a cold sweat break out on her forehead. She couldn't let this go on. She needed to find out who the voice was talking about. As she dashed back through the winding streets, the ringing echoed in her mind, relentless and haunting. Arriving at her apartment, she quickly dialed her best friend, Lisa. The phone rang, and she felt a sickening twist in her stomach with every chime. "Come on, pick up," she urged. But there was no answer. The dread grew as she thought about the voice's warning. Mia rushed to her laptop, her fingers flying over the keys as she searched for anything related to the Midnight Ringer. She found a forum filled with chilling accounts of others who had heard the call. Each story ended with someone they loved meeting a terrible fate. One story struck her like a lightning bolt. A girl who ignored the call lost her brother, who had been in a car accident that very night. The connection was undeniable, and Mia felt a weight settle on her chest. What if she didn't act? What if it was Lisa? Desperation clawed at her as she thought of the choices laid before her. Should she answer the call again? But what if it was a trap? The clock ticked away the seconds, each one a reminder that time was running out. Could she really risk someone else's life to save her friend? Just as she was about to call Lisa again, her phone rang for the third time. The screen lit up with Lisa's name, and Mia's heart soared. She answered quickly, relief flooding through her. "Lisa, thank God, are you okay?" "Mia, I was just about to call you. I was out with a few friends, but I've been feeling so strange. Like something bad is going to happen." Her voice trembled, and Mia felt the gravity of the situation. "I need you to come home, now." "Why? What's wrong?" Lisa asked, her concern evident. Just trust me, please! As Mia hung up, she felt the air grow colder. The ringing from the payphone echoed in her mind, and suddenly she was struck by a thought. What if the midnight ringer was right? What if by calling Lisa back she had sealed her fate? With no time to waste, Mia raced back to the alley, guided by the relentless tolling of the phone. She arrived breathless, the payphone standing ominously in the dim light. The ringing had stopped, but she could feel an oppressive presence, like a weight in the air. Mia. The voice echoed again, this time softer, more sinister. You've made your choice. What do you want from me? She shouted, desperation spilling over. I didn't want this. A chilling laugh filled the alley, and the shadows seemed to twist and writhe. You can't escape it. You've already chosen. Suddenly, Mia's phone buzzed in her pocket. A text from Lisa read, I'm outside. I see you. Relief washed over her, but the moment was short-lived. She turned to see a figure emerging from the fog. Lisa, looking pale and unsteady. Mia! She called, running towards her. But as she got closer, Mia noticed something was off. Lisa's eyes were glazed over, and her movements were jerky, almost unnatural. Mia's heart raced as she realized the truth. The voice had been right. She had chosen, and now Lisa was in danger. No! Lisa, don't come any closer! She screamed, but it was too late. The shadows surged forward, enveloping Lisa in a suffocating darkness. Mia couldn't move, rooted to the spot as she watched her best friend vanish before her eyes, swallowed by the urban legend that had claimed so many before. In that moment of horror, Mia understood the weight of her actions. The midnight ringer had taken someone she loved, all because of her curiosity and her choice. The alley fell silent, the phone hanging ominously, waiting for its next victim. As the fog rolled in, Mia stood alone, the ringing now a haunting reminder of her failure. The legend would continue, lurking in the shadows, ready to claim the next unsuspecting soul. And as the clock struck midnight once again, the midnight ringer smiled, knowing the darkness would always call.